Hey guys, I'm Doyle with Southern Paranormal,
And I'm Donald with Southern Paranormal.
and tonight we're at an undisclosed location. We're very close to the Tennessee line. We're in Alabama. That's about all we can say. We have been talking with the homeowner for about a month and a half or something, and he's had a lot of claims of possible paranormal activity here.
And some crypto.
Right. It's something that we hadn't delved into, but a little bit out of our comfort zone, but we decided to come see what we could help with.
Thank you for coming. So appreciate
There's a
it.
cave on this.
There is
the land.
there is a cave on
Can you
this
tell us?
particular location. It's roughly 6 miles depth into the mountain that's near us. So Cave Society has documented the distance. I personally have not been that far. A couple of 100 yards all I've been, but it's quite interesting into the mountain. A lot of history in there, a lot of Cherokee Indian history in that area. So
You also said something about Cherokee. You also have
there's a
mounds.
burial mound on the property also. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's kind of a theory that possibly something could be living in the
Could
cave
be.
coming out and mixed with some paranormal activity from
It would
being in the
appear.
burial ground.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
What's some of the things that you've experienced here on here?
It's been happening for about 4 years since I had purchased the property. So I would say the first encounter that we had, we were camping in the lower part of the area here back in the summer about 4 years ago. And after we got set up, we had a fire roaring, and girlfriend and I were there getting everything ready. And so after a few minutes, we heard this, what sounded like a mountain lion up near the cave. And then the horses, we have horses, and they started running around the field. And this went on for about 15 minutes, and I'm still working the fire and cooking supper, as it were. And all of a sudden, whatever it was that was chasing the horses cleared the fence to my left, where the driveway parallel to me there, went in between the fire, and there was a tub of wood that I had here feeding the fire. And it hit this tub, and it knocked all the wood up in the air. And my girlfriend was adjacent to me, 15 feet away, looking dead at me, and we never saw a thing. It went right between us. I felt the wind off of it, and about 7 seconds later, the dog came behind whatever it was, and it went to the edge of the woods and then stopped. Whether it lost the trail or didn't want to pursue it.
So you
I don't
didn't
know.
physically see it.
So I
but
never
you felt
saw
the
it.
wind.
She never saw it. We're both looking at each other. It went right by me. I felt it, but I couldn't see a single thing. Can't tell you what it was, but it happened. Yeah, it's a pretty bizarre feeling to have that happen to you. So
Didn't you have something happen with your truck one time, or
they had a similar situation, but that was later. Yeah, much later. That was about this last summer. I was going to work one morning, and so as I stepped off the step to leave that morning, I heard a limb break. I heard another limb break. So when I got to the truck, I had some lumber stacked in the back of the truck, 1x6s. I think they were like 10 feet long. I had them tied in with a rope about as big as my finger. And I got in the truck. I heard something coming through the woods. I couldn't tell. There's a gully there where I was parked, so a lot of underbrush. Couldn't see anything moving that quickly, and it came up, and as quickly as I got in the truck, I felt the truck rock, and it hit those boards that were tied in, broke the rope, and I panned around with the floodlight, but I never saw a thing.
well, I know that. I mean, we walked down to that cave this afternoon, and it's not something that you're going to run down to.
No, sir. No, it's
you have
treacherous.
to watch your step through it. So if anything was moving at that speed through it, I mean, it knew the territory, it knew the
I
terrain,
knew it.
and I mean, what's some of your thoughts on it?
I mean, when we first got here, we also have Fallen Shadows and Dr. Jim with Third-Eye Paranormal also here with us today. And once we got here and everybody met up, we actually walked the trail up to the cave, and was actually going to see if we can't get down inside and explore the cave a little bit before we actually got started, and see if we could find any tracks or any evidence of something coming in and out of the cave. It's rained here quite a bit over the past few weeks, and it's very slippery and everything is wet. So we actually tried to go down inside and couldn't really get too far into the entrance. We got down about 25-30 feet in with a rope and all, but you couldn't get any farther down because it was just so slippery and wet. So we decided safety on cautious and be on the safe side and come on out and maybe come back in the summertime when everything's dried out a little bit better and we're more equipped to go down in there.
More real, yeah, be safer.
The part that I was down in there, I could see somebody. There's been some people in there before because they've got some little bit of graffiti on the inside, and the ledge where I was at, there's a drop off about 20 feet. There's some water and stuff down there where it's pooling up, but around that corner it goes at a upward angle. It's dry up in that area. Now couldn't see anything past there because the ledge got really small.
It was narrow, yes sir.
Right there on the end, so we decided to come on out, and actually had one of our members had a bat on the back of his jacket when we were
That's
standing
correct.
at the entrance and all. So no telling what's all in there now. Some of the guys from Fallen Shadows walked on up the ridge past the main entrance and found a second hole. We don't know if that's another entrance to the cave or it's a hole by itself. I shined the light down in there when I went up there and really couldn't see the bottom too good. It looks like it's a main shaft that just like a center hole all the way down, and it's probably, I'd say, about 5 or 6 feet across. Now it may have another section that comes from that cave into that hole, but all I could see straight down was just a hole there. So that'd be something we can look at too when we come back during the summertime.
You also placed a game camera up right in front of that entrance for the night, just to see if there's any kind of activity or anything we may catch on it, later on.
Yeah. As far as the walk up there and the walk back, it's not an easy walk up there, especially coming back through. It's kind of dark when we come back. It's
Steep
kind of
and
treacherous
slippery.
and slippery and a
Very
lot
steep
of
hills up through here.
yeah. I mean, it's not something that you can just jump right on there and run on down. It's got to be cautious.
And you've had the paranormal activity possibly that was happening here. We said you were sleeping in here one night. And
That was a few years ago, about 3 years ago. Girlfriend and I were asleep. It was 5 in the morning, about time to go to work, and so out of a dead sleep, something happened in the kitchen next to the bedroom, and I went in there, couldn't figure out what the noise was, and pictures had fallen off the wall, 2 pictures. So I thought that was odd. We didn't feel an earthquake or anything, and certainly not strong enough to cause that. So I picked those up, hung them back on the wall, went back and laid back down. Been there maybe 10 minutes, nodding off again, and this was fairly warm weather, so we had the windows open. You could hear up behind the house. And I have horses. Take that into consideration first. And I did hear hoofs on rock. But my horses, especially my mule, he's the only one that would explore the area. He wouldn't walk on jutted rock that's jagged and 3 or 4 feet high and 7 or 8 feet high. He just couldn't do it. And so I heard this noise, and I kept laying there thinking, what am I hearing? And it was getting closer, and it was louder. And then all of a sudden something grabbed the door, just the door. There were windows all around the back of the house, on either side of the door. But whatever grabbed the door, like it electrified the door, and it just whoo, vibrated in its frame. So I bolted the door with my gun and outside, pan around, never saw a thing, never heard anything move. But yet this happened. And certainly my girlfriend was just terrified. She had no idea what that was. I still don't know what it was, but it did happen that way.
that was another story you just told us that I hadn't heard before. We had the cat that was in here and was talking about it, and you said that you heard a disembodied voice.
That's true.
How long
Yes,
ago
sir.
has that been? And
That's been
what was
about
it?
2 years ago when I was come into the living room one morning early around 6 a.m. on a Saturday, and I had the door closed, of course. I kept hearing a cat on the porch hiss, and I thought that was odd. Why is a cat hissing? 2 or 3 times, real loud, And then all of a sudden, as I sat there, I heard this voice, southern drawl, real southern female voice, say, "What's wrong, pretty baby?" And then the cat went, "Hey!" So then I bolt to the door, sling it open, and it's like there's a breeze. I see the trees moving and stuff, wind blowing, but nothing there. The cat was mortified, seemed to be, but yeah.
Wow.
How'd the cat act after that?
He was skittish for several hours after that. Would hide up under stuff, didn't see much of it for a while. This happened August 9th of 2017.
A photo?
2018, pardon me, this last fall. And so I had trail cam set up beside the house, and broad daylight, I'm at work, it's 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. So I get a picture, plain as day, you know, just the scene. This camera's about 5.5 feet off the ground in the woods, something tripped the camera. And then in another 8 or 10 seconds, there's this face that appears right in front of the camera. And it almost looks like just transmission lines, like a frequency, like you would look at, well, if you were from a different time now than the younger generation, but if you were to look at the TV, the frequency when you
Like
would tune the
static.
channel, like static almost. And this face was there. And then the next frame clicked again, and that was the next day, and you could just see the woods, you know, with nothing there. So whatever it was, made a point to come right up to the camera and then just say, "Oh, you've been looking. You've been wondering what's here. Well, here I am." So
I'll put a picture of it over this and let y'all see it here.
Could have been some like electrical interference, something.
could have been that. There's no power over on that side of the
Right.
house. There was
I'm
no
talking about
lighting
whatever
on that.
whatever was there could have been
That's true.
putting off some electrical interference. 'Cause
Exactly. Some
I mean,
kind of field. Yeah, I didn't think about
last
that.
night getting just a little note. Last night getting everything ready and all, got recorders out and make sure all of them were charged up and ready to go. Of course, I had one that I took the batteries out and because it was dead and I didn't have any batteries last night. But you know, the recorder that I've got, you know, recording off of this was charged up, and we got ready to set up everything here, and the thing is completely dead. You know, whether it's paranormal or just some bad batteries, who knows?
That wouldn't be the first time that we've came into a location with fully charged batteries and just see it drain just quickly.
You know, I've got the battery box. I've not been able to get anything to pull the stuff off, the energy off of it that I made, and you know, one of these days, I guess, hopefully, we'll get an actual evidence because it's got a digital meter on it. If something zaps that battery off of there, it'll go down like that. So it's one of those things I've been waiting to see if I can get it to do. Might actually try that here tonight.
Yeah, one of the things that we are, I think, one group's going to go back to the cave tonight. Not go down in the cave, but
We're going to go back up and kind
set
of
up.
get around and do some EVP stuff up there and see if we can't catch something up there tonight.
Another group will be in the house here and see what we can come up with. And one good thing here, other than the train in the background, which seems to follow us wherever we go, but it's really quiet. It's really secluded. Your closest neighbor is how far away?
3/4 of a mile away.
You know, it's very quiet in here. So
Another note about the location: there's no electricity,
right,
so there's not going to be any kind of,
any electromagnetic.
any interference. So we should not get any K2 hits at all. We shouldn't get anything off the millimeters or nothing. It should be all dead. So that's another big positive. Plus, you got the outside interference of refrigerators or air conditioners or anything like that. So it's all dead quiet other than the crickets and the frogs outside.
The occasional train. So, but we're ready to get started. See what we can come up with and split up in groups and we did carry on this one because we're not going to know what we could encounter out there. So
Everybody's carrying.
everybody's got at least one or two on. So anyway, guys, we hope y'all enjoy what we're fixing to let y'all see here in the investigation. Hopefully we can come up with a few answers for you.
That would be helpful. Yes, sir.
You
What
know.
was that?
Did you hear something?
Oh, it must be the
Beetle.
ladybug. It's a ladybug.
But, well, got bats and ladybugs now,
Let's go.
huh? All right, guys. We're off.
Kerosene land later.